So this is the MBK radio frequency device. It is best for aging skin, anybody really over 20. It's going to resurface the skin. It will give a tightening effect because of the EMS in the device. It will also resurface the skin and thicken up the dermis. And so this is something you could do in a series once a week, and you would do this. A full cycle is 10 minutes. This combines radio frequency and infrared. That's at 880 nanometers, so it's deeply penetrating. Clients generally don't feel this. It's a nice, soothing sort of heat, but they're not being shocked or anything. It's not a bad feeling. It's good for aging skin types. It's good for just about any skin type except for ultra sensitive, and no pregnancy, no pacemakers, that sort of thing, because you're going to have a current going through the body. Why it works is because that RF is fractionated. You can see all those little electrodes there. So there's energy going between each one. And then the infrared helps it be more effective and a little bit more penetrating. So it's a really fascinating device. I get such good results with this. My mother says, and I've used like every single device ever made. My mom, because I work on her a lot, and she says out of all my devices, this is the one that plumps her skin and lifts her skin the most. So don't be fooled. This is a really effective device. And you'll want to avoid any sort of retinoid, vitamin A, or retinol for a few days after this. Aftercare would basically be moisturize. They don't need to put any occlusive, nothing like Aquaphor or anything too occlusive on it. Just a regular moisturizer, and then sunscreen. You'll want to stay out of direct sunlight in the days after this treatment. But in general, it's a very easy, very high client satisfaction treatment. It's also very fast, which I love. Let's get into the video of how to use it. You have to be touching this on either side, just one of them. You have to be touching it for it to work. So I'm going to turn this guy on. This is radio frequency and infrared. And just note that this device is way stronger than most people think. And that's why it's not even sold to consumers, because you could basically melt your skin from the inside. And so I'm going to turn it on, and then I'm turning the infrared on, and then the RF, I'll turn on to medium. And it's a minute treatment, and you want to just do slow, even strokes. And I'm going to do half of her face first. And if your client has thyroid issues, please avoid the thyroid completely. And how we can sort of circumvent that is just go under the chin. So the device is faced like up like this. You'll still get a big purchase of that under the chin wattle area that most people don't like. And you can do a vector. This is one of the vectors. And a vector is just a move that cuts across areas of common facial sag. So yeah, when you're doing the thyroid, you can go up the side of the neck to behind the ear, underneath the chin to in front of the ear, underneath the chin to the behind the ear. And those would be some moves you could safely use around the thyroid. So you're going to see that she's starting to plump on one side. Now, if you don't get this right, like if you're not touching this, it won't light up red. So you know if you're conducting because it lights up red. The little LEDs tell you you're conducting. So if I don't have this, she's not conducting. If I have this, she's conducting. So you got to have that thumb or that hand on your client. So this is going to resurface the skin. It's going to give a nice lift because of the EMS byproduct effect of radio frequency. So EMS is electric muscle stimulation. So in addition to sending electricity down into the skin to resurface it, it also has the byproduct of tensing up the muscle. And so that's why people love radio frequency, because for the next day or two, she's going to look really lifted and really plump. And then she's going to start to resurface. Sometimes you can be a little dry after this device for the first day or two. Just wanted to show you the difference between the sides. And I really like the way that this delivers in sort of a fractionated way. So there's current going through every one of those little dots, those little electrodes. And when I hold it and kind of drag it, I can feel a little bit of fascia release going on with her, a little bit of release of some tight muscles. That's really something you'd want to do with your hands or wash a tool, but this will do it on the forehead a little bit. I like to get their nose, because the nose ages as well. I like to really drag it into the hairline. And they usually aren't very happy about how their hair looks after the facial, but I always tell them you're here for your face, not your hair. They get over it, but I really like to drag it into, that facelift area in front of the ear. Do that earlobe, it needs some attention too. Dragging it behind the ear. That's why I put that conductive gel up behind there. Because this area, especially this driver's side, it gets a lot of sun on people. Don't forget their décolleté. You got plenty of time to do that as well with this. I also like this move that goes from the jaw up to the temple. Another one of those sort of pseudo facelift moves. This is a vector. This is a vector. This is a vector. And I'll put a picture of the vectors up. She's starting to dry out a little bit, so I'll take a second and let you see the difference between the two sides. So as you can see, she's got some lift through here, here. Yeah, she's doing well. Even the neck area underneath the chin. Now normally this make them the tiniest bit red, but her redness is due to this mask I put on. And a good way to know if your client's drinking any water or not is you will usually see a big red thumbprint where your thumb was if they're dehydrated. So it's a good idea to tell them to drink a glass of water or two before the treatment. Really get hydrated that day. This is a vector. Just remember, if that red light's on, you're golden, but if it's not, like if you try to do it like this, and it's not on, you're not conducting. So don't overdo it with this device. I have her on medium. She's got some pretty tough skin, even though it's tends to be of Welsh heritage background, Welsh, Polish, a little bit thinner, on the thinner side. But she's using really good products, so her skin is in good shape. Otherwise, I'd start on low. You'll feel a little bit of crunchies, some of the muscles underneath. We did a little bit of facial contouring moves before we started, so I wanted to make sure that I could get her head stacked back up. So I released her sternocleidomastoid on either side when she was laying down, and then I did that occipital ridge pull that Jane Mann teaches so nicely in her facial contouring massage classes. Because when people's heads are stacked correctly, they drain better, their faces drain better, they have less back pain, etc. Some people are so bad, though, that you need to send them to the chiropractor. You do the best you can, and you're going to get more drainage from all that work, so definitely worth doing something. I do that to just about every client because everybody's all hunched over, watching their iPads and they're in front of their computers, looking at their phones. So most people's front of their neck is nice and contracted and the back is all stretched out. And so, yeah, so it's off. But yeah, just know that even if you don't learn facial contouring, just release their sternocleidomastoid, those little pinching moves. I have so many videos on that. It's good payoff. It helps your client drain, helps your own face drain. And you can do, if you want to do a little trouble area, like holding it sideways and doing the lips. And this is great if people have lip lines or thin lips. It'll make them come back. Just make sure you have plenty of conductive gel on. I'm going to do some vectors. And that's it. Thanks for watching. Bye now.